Okay, so let's start with a thought experiment. What if you could actually see how much someone liked you?
Oh, that's a dangerous thought.
Right. I mean, imagine the ultimate romantic cheat code. A visible, quantifiable, love meter just floating right above their head.
It sounds like a dream. The end of all ambiguity, all the guesswork.
It sounds like a dream for anyone who's ever tried to navigate that terrifying messiness of dating. But what happens when the data? What happens when it's just fundamentally wrong?
And that ambiguity is really the heart of it all, isn't it? We're so conditioned to want certainty in romance, a simple yes or no.
Yeah, a clear answer.
But that certainty can be absolutely devastating, especially when the facts you think you're seeing contradict everything you actually feel.
And that sets the perfect high-stakes stage for our deep dive today. We are going to be unpacking the newly announced anime adaptation of Rin Komugi's manga, Marika's Love Meter Malfunction.
Our mission here is to go a little beyond just a simple plot summary. We're going to really dissect how this story uses a high-concept, almost sci-fi gimmick.
The meter itself.
Exactly, the malfunctioning meter, and how it uses that to explore these incredibly deep and relatable anxieties about, self-worth and perception in relationships. We want to pull out all the core insights and get you completely up to speed before its debut.
Which is confirmed for 2026 in Japan. And that news, it didn't just drop quietly. It came with this stunning, vibrant illustration that just perfectly captures the manga's whole vibe.
That mix of sweetness and total absurdity.
Exactly. The author, Rin Komugi, also shared this really charming commemorative video, which to me signals that this project is a real labor of love, and that is always fantastic news for an audience.
Oh, absolutely. That level of enthusiasm you can see from the creator, it's a good sign. It usually means the unique vision of the source material is being protected. But to really appreciate what the adaptation has to do, you have to understand the premise that made the manga such a hit.
Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got our protagonist. He's the classic, awkward, but, very determined boy.
We all know that character.
And he is struggling with this painful, just crushing, unrequited love for his childhood friend, Marika. He's doing all the right things, the small kindnesses, the supportive gestures.
But he feels completely invisible.
Totally. Like every heartfelt effort he makes is just vanishing into thin air.
It's the universal struggle of high school romance, right? Until, of course, the supernatural element kicks in.
In a moment of pure desperation, you see this in so many stories, he wishes on a shooting star. And, well, boom.
The rules of reality just shift.
And in a move that is pure dating simulation logic, his wish comes true. He's suddenly given this supernatural ability to see a love meter on every single person he meets.
So for anyone who hasn't played those kinds of games, you can just imagine a visible gauge, a number, showing their affection level for him.
It's the perfect cheat code for life.
It sounds like sounds like an instant win. But this is where the malfunction part of the title comes in, and this is the central conflict that just elevates the entire story.
Because the very first person he checks, of course, is Marika. He's probably expecting a struggle, right? Maybe a low reading, 30–40% affinity, something he can strategically work to raise.
A number he can work with, a project.
But what he finds isn't a score he can improve, it's a catastrophic failure. The source material is so specific about this. Her meter isn't just low, it's described as practically shattered.
Yeah, it's not a zero, it's broken. It implies something worse than zero, maybe a negative number the system can't even process.
That is such a crucial distinction.
It is, because a low reading gives you hope. A shattered meter suggests impossibility. And this immediately creates a devastating paradox because Marika is outwardly kind to him.
Overly friendly even. Aggressively supportive.
Exactly. So the shattered data forces this immediate, horrible question. Is the meter lying? Or is all of Marika's kindness just a complete and total mask for indifference? Or even worse, for active dislike.
And that's the genius of it. It doesn't ruin the romance, it ruins his certainty. He now has what he thinks is objective data telling him he is fundamentally unwanted. Yet his entire subjective lived experience is screaming the exact opposite. And the drama is just watching him try to reconcile those two things.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant because the story doesn't let the audience off easy with a simple gimmick. The premise is hilarious, sure, but the story quickly gets so much deeper. It digs into the real anxieties of young love and the self-doubt that this kind of, visual contradiction creates.
We move past the slapstick really fast and into this genuine emotional dilemma. He has data telling him he's a zero,
Right.
but he's still dealing with the overwhelming kindness from the girl he loves. The whole theme becomes about how data validation can cause extreme paranoia, not comfort.
And think about that internal turmoil. I mean,
Yep.
if the meter read 20%, he'd be focused on changing his behavior, right? On raising the score.
Of course, what can I do differently?
But a shattered meter implies there's nothing he can do. It's a fundamental block.
Yeah.
So he stops trying to woo Marika and starts focusing on just validating the meter.
He becomes a detective of his own rejection. That's fascinating. He's looking for tiny flaws in her kindness, searching for any evidence of some hidden cruelty, just to make the broken meter make sense.
He's battling self-sabotage. It's all caused by the perception of rejection, even while she's still doing all these sweet things for him.
Wow.
And what's really fascinating is how that shattered meter becomes a direct metaphor for that universal feeling of being out of someone's league.
Ah, I see.
It externalizes that crippling internal self-doubt that so many of us feel. He literally sees himself as a zero, and that visual evidence starts to dictate his entire sense of self-worth.
And what about the other implications? He can see everyone's meters, not just hers.
Right.
So what happens when a potential rival for Marika shows up with a glowing, say, 95% meter? Does our protagonist just give up, even if Marika is clearly spending more time with him?
It forces him to constantly weigh his subjective experience against these supposedly objective data points. He has to be suspicious of people with high meters, but whose actions seem, lukewarm.
And completely suspicious of Marika, whose meter is broken, but whose actions are so positive.
It's a masterclass in proving that even if love could be quantified, we humans would immediately find a way to mistrust the system.
So it's a story about what we choose to believe. If the data says no, but your heart, your memory says yes, which one is the truth?
Precisely. And that internal conflict is what forces his journey of self-acceptance. Because the score is zero, he can't try to change her score anymore. That path is it's psychologically closed off to him.
So the only thing left for him to work on is himself.
Exactly. He has to switch from trying to fix her score to defining his own value, completely independent of some magical broken reading. The source material really highlights that this is a journey through love and self-discovery.
Where friendships get tested and self-acceptance unfolds, as they say, amidst laughs and heartfelt moments.
The real message is that he has to learn to be okay with himself before he can be effective in any relationship. And that emotional depth, hidden under this absurd dating sim mechanic, is exactly why the hype for the adaptation is so high.
Speaking of the anticipation, let's talk about that buzz. We have the 2026 timeline confirmed, but a lot of the critical details are still under wraps.
Oh yeah. The studio, the staff, and of course the casting choices. All firmly under wraps for now.
But the speculation online is everywhere.
It's palpable. And the success of this anime is going to hinge so much on the voice acting. You need a protagonist who can really sell that deep, self-doubting paranoia, but also nail the comic timing.
And for Marika, you need a voice that sounds so genuinely, overwhelmingly kind and innocent.
Yes, to maintain that perfect stressful dissonance with her broken meter.
That is a huge challenge. And even just animating a shattered meter, transferring that from a static manga panel into motion, that's going to require a studio with some real finesse.
Someone known for handling subtle psychological stuff within a bright, accessible visual style. Fans are dying to know who gets that job.
So for those of you who are now completely hooked and want to dive into the source material, which is a great way to get ahead of the 2026 anime, we do have the details on where you can find it.
The original manga is being released by Shueisha in Japan. For anyone who wants to start immediately, the digital editions are readily available right now.
So you can jump right into our protagonist's internal struggle today.
And for those who prefer physical copies, those are slated to drop next year. But the really excellent news, especially for our English-speaking audience, is that MangaPlaza has secured the English translation rights.
That is a crucial piece of the puzzle. MangaPlaza ensuring that the whimsical nature of this tale can, enchant audiences far and wide. That tells you everything you need to know about the global potential for this title.
It really does. They clearly recognize that these themes, self-doubt, unquantifiable affection, they resonate everywhere. The combination of a relatable romantic problem and a truly bizarre fantasy mechanic is a recipe for success.
And the fact that the rights were acquired so quickly proves this is seen as a major contender for the next great rom-com series.
No doubt about it.
So, to wrap up this deep dive, Marika's love meter Malfunction really promises to be a delightful gem. It manages to merge this quantifiable, game-like metric for love with genuine, messy, emotional depth.
Yeah, I think audiences are going to be laughing. They're going to be stressed out by the visual lie of the meter.
And they'll be intensely rooting for this awkward kid on his chaotic journey towards self-acceptance right from the very start.
And before we send you off, let's leave you with the central philosophical question this manga really forces you to think about. It goes beyond the comedy. If love and affection were truly quantifiable by a visible meter, what happens when that system shatters? When it implies absolute zero? Does the impossibility of relying on an easy score perhaps make genuine human connection, the effort, the vulnerability, the complex, unquantifiable journey even more valuable?
That's a great question. If the definitive measurement fails, you have no choice but to rely on faith, on effort, on lived experience. So when you see kindness that completely contradicts the broken score, what do you value more? The visible, easy, but flawed data, or the messy, complex, ambiguous reality of just trying to feel your way forward? Something to think about as you wait for the 2026 debut.